Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for the Never Ever Mets. This is the finale episode. They're going to have a reunion. We've never had a reunion for this show, so this is going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching it and reviewing it. I just now realized I'm just talking. I hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing well. Just rude, child. But I just realized that what's the name of that show, y'all? Love After Lockup had a finale as well. So maybe it's like a mid-season break, because don't Love After Lockup run for a long time? Anyway, I'm still going to talk about the final episode of Love After Lockup. I'm trying to redeem my time here, y'all. I'm doing what I can. Right now I'm cleaning up and trying to do my review at the same time. I bought a lapel mic. Is that what they're called? I bought one of those. I'm waiting on it to come, because then I can do my voiceovers and I can be moving around. You know, my headset, when I try to do my voiceovers with my earpiece in, it's a bunch of back. It just doesn't sound good. It sounds like I'm moving around. So I'm hoping once I get that microphone, I can be moving and grooving and talking to y'all at the same time. That's my hope. That's my hope and my prayer, because I need that. But anyway, let's get into what happened on this episode, this finale episode of Never Ever Mets. Okay, so this is the end. This is everybody's last couple of days in the house. So you got everybody walking around, talking about what they want to do. I'm just going to give y'all the setup. Brandon and Kiki are about to go on a date. Kiki really got on my nerves this episode and the last episode. She going to say, since Brandon want to act like a kid, I took him to Dave and Buster's. Child, shut up. We getting there. Then we have, Jay and Sinko, of course, talking about everybody else in the house, as they always do. Okay, so right now we have everybody about to leave the house. They need to make a decision. Of course, Shonda, she comes to let them know they need to make a decision. Are you going to stay or go? Blase, blase. Brandon and Kiki go on a date. Kiki got on my nerves. We'll talk about it. Chris and Alexis. Alexis likes Chris, clearly, and wants to have dealings with him. I don't know what Chris is doing. Then we have Jared and Charlie. She gonna make this man tell her one more time that he don't want her. And lastly, we got Jay and Sinko, who think they better than everybody. They the best couple in the house. They know they going home together. And right now they just looking at everybody else trying to see what they gonna do. So typical behavior, normal behavior is going on with everybody. Now let's get into each couple. Okay, I'm going to talk about this from the most complicated to the least complicated. So Jay and Sinko, we know that these two are going home together. There's absolutely no doubt about it. They said that they're going to miss the rest of the group, because it was starting to feel like, I think it was Kiki who actually said it was starting to feel like family, but all of them, including Jay and Sinko, do admit they're going to miss being around the group. They have no doubts about their relationship. They do still have to work out that whole moving situation, but they've known since day one that they were going to be going home together. Jay says that Sinko was definitely in love from the very first moment, which was funny. So I'm interested to see what they decided as far as their living situation once we get to the reunion. But these two are definitely going home together, and at the end, they do so. You know, this truly saddens me. Alexis did such a good job talking to Charlie, and trying to get her situation clear. And I wanted her to take her own advice, because I just don't think Chris want her like that. Seeing her talk to him and ask him, are we good? Because it seemed like you wanted to go to the intimacy suite one minute, and then all of a sudden you didn't. The fact that she's having to beg him for intimacy, it would be different if Chris were super religious and had already made that clear, or if he was abstaining, or he was practicing some type of edging or something, where he just wasn't trying to get in like that. But he hasn't expressed any of that. And even when on the last night she says that they might go, Chris is like, I ain't trying to go up in there. So just the fact that she's had to beg for those moments of closeness and she's not getting them, and there's always an excuse like, oh, you're too aggressive, or you're this, or you're that. And it's, I don't know. He's admitted to like wanting her to lose some weight or something. So I'm like, is he not physically attracted to her, or is he trying to work his way into, I don't know what it is. I felt like he told her, I would like to leave with you to kind of save face. But later on, he's going to call her and tell her, oh, I don't know if this is really going to work. I would be surprised to see them still together at the reunion, because I felt like Alexis was just working way harder than she needed to be to get anything out of him. When they played the game, I discovered that Chris, they tried to blame it on Mississippi. I know people from Mississippi and they know how to read. I just think he don't read well or enunciate his words. And I really don't appreciate nobody trying to put that on Mississippi, because all that he was doing when he was reading them cards, they were like, what? Children? What you say? Look, I know he might be from the deeper parts of Mississippi, but don't be trying to put that on Mississippi now. But these two, yeah, I just don't see it for them. I felt bad for Alexis. She's a woman in her 40s, baby. I know that sex drive is up, okay? Nobody got time to be playing around with Chris in these reindeer games he playing, because if it was a woman he really wanted, he would have been in that intimacy suite probably the second night. So, we can move on to the next one, so. Okay, so Brandon and Kiki go on their date. The date was awkward. Kiki is not really, she's trying to act as if Brandon is overreacting for feeling how he feels. So she tells us that since he wants to behave like a child, she took him to where a child would go, which is Dave and Buster's. He's not behaving like a child. I think he is very valid in feeling the way that he does. And when y'all did have a discussion about it, you were just trying not to own anything that you did. So he's still feeling some type of way. He brings it back up. They have a good date, but he said that his thoughts about the situation were overshadowing the date. So he brings them up again at the table, to which he just says, how do I know, with us still being long distance, how do I know that you're not dealing with this ex anymore? How do I know that you're not still into him? And Kiki says that, and he also brings up how the various times that he didn't see her, he was thinking the whole time she might be nervous or she wanted to keep the online thing going. He would have never thought it was an ex. So how do I know now? And Kiki says he knows now because it's different this time. Now they've seen each other. Everything is more tangible. So she will be less likely to feel that type of way about him. Like, everything is more real now. It's different. I didn't think that was a good answer. And it wouldn't have soothed any of my worries or fears at all, because I don't know. I just don't think that's a good answer. Brandon accepts the answer. And I think at the beginning of the date, depending on how the conversation went, he was willing to look past it. But I think after the date and just kind of seeing her, because Brandon was like, Kiki said this is going to be the second date, our second one, and pretty much counting, like this is our second date out of hopefully hundreds more. And Brandon said, I don't know. I got a lot to think about. Kiki talking about, I do too. What do you have to think about, Kiki? He's holding all the cards here. What do you have to think about? You don't got nothing to think about besides the fact if you want to actually own any of the things you do, and you don't. I don't know if it's because Kiki has been babied throughout her life. I'm not really sure, but she talks about stuff as if it should be no big deal and people should just get over the things that she does. And while I do still believe, because she had brought up at one point, maybe I might be confusing last episode, but like how she has to deal with his mood swing. Yeah, that was last episode, and how he talks to her. I do believe that Brandon can take a point and, I don't want to say drag it, but he can get very he can get up real fast, as far as his irritability or his temper or whatever. But in this situation, I think Kiki is wrong. I think that she is treating everything that she does as if it's not a big deal, and that Brandon should just get over it. Like, he doesn't have the right to be irritated. Like, he does not have the right to be upset. I do think she got a bit of a drinking problem, and I think I think her friends know that, and they're covering for her. But she just comes off as very babyish, very dismissive, very much, I don't do anything wrong. And it's annoying. She needs to grow up. I hope she does so. And I hope they drag her in these comments to encourage her to do so, seriously. In the end, Brandon tells her he doesn't think it's going to work. They need to go their separate ways. I'm glad Brandon did it, because Kiki wasn't going to do it. Kiki tries in that moment to say, oh, because, I deserve this and I deserve. Girl, please. I ain't even listen to what she was talking about because I knew she was about to try to flip it to make it seem like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, you ain't gonna work for me either. Brandon says he don't think they compatible and he walk out that house. He don't say nothing else to Kiki. He don't get a girl a hug. He just like, bye, girl. Best of luck to you. I said, ooh, not cold-blooded with his. Now, dang, Brandon. But you know what? I guess he say when it's over, it's over. We're going to cut the cords right now. I don't need no detachment. We're going to do it right here, right now. Jared is full of it, but Charlie is also delayed. So Jared and Charlie, they go on their last final little date. And Charlie is telling us in the confessionals that Jared needs to be man enough to tell her what's up. I said, wait a minute. Am I missing something here? Did he not tell her what was up last episode? Are we, is this being filmed out of sequence? He told you last week that he was the one that said, F no, and that he didn't have, after you told him about the other children, he was not planning on doing anything with you. And he admitted that he should have let you know that earlier. But this is what it is. He was just trying to enjoy his time with you. So why today are we acting as if this is a brand new line of thought? Like, you got to let me know if we going home together or not. He already let you know he not going home with you. He said y'all got too many kids between the two of y'all and he not doing it. So they get out there and Jared is just like, this time with us is being, now he's a slick talker. Okay. And to a woman with some sense, all of that he would have got cussed out for all of it and I would have got up and walked away. But he in there, this has been great. Just that moment I saw you, I was so starstruck and all these words, y'all, only for him to say. And I think at this point we should just, as we go forward, just focus on our friendship. We should just focus on being best friends. You're like my best friend. And I know that I have a lot of women who I call my best friend, but with you, it's different. You are like the one. You are the best friend. And that's what we can focus on. And that's what boy, if you don't get the hell up out of my face, I ain't come out here looking for no friend. Charlie is irritated and I understand why she is, but then at the same time, I don't understand because he's already told you he don't want you. What did Judge Lynn told her say? Don't ever let a man tell you he don't want you more than once. She said that all the time in the courtroom. So I don't know why Charlie is sitting there acting as if he hadn't already told her that this wasn't going to work out. I don't know if it's because he didn't walk away that same night, that maybe she thought he was entertaining the idea. I don't know if there was another conversation that we don't know about in private. I really don't know. But right now, this has her looking like she don't understand words well, because he already said what he had to say when his sister was there, in my opinion. So Charlie is irritated and she was like, what do you mean friends? Like, what do you mean best friends? I am in love with you. I love you. I thought that we would be building something together. And he was like, yeah, we can continue building our friendship. We can continue being best friends. And then we could just see kind of how it goes from there. But Jared says he never meant to hurt Charlie's feelings. She has become victim to his line of thought and reasoning, just like a lot of other women have. But he's pleased with the conversation and felt like he said what he needed to say, because this is where he is at with it. And Charlie is just sitting there like, she don't know what to do. But girl, you know what you got to do. What do you mean you don't know what to do? You know what you got to do. Okay, so when Charlie talks to Alexis, she's telling Alexis she doesn't know what to do. She loves Jared. He checks all of her boxes. And Alexis said, you keep talking about these boxes. What boxes is he checking? She talks about how kind he is, how good he is to her, how she was feeling bad one day and he brought her breakfast. It's like the little things he does. And Alexis is like, that's one of the boxes? Like, you've never been treated kindly? And she was like, no, I don't. Men specifically, I think is what, I don't think she meant nobody, but I think men specifically have, I hate this system and keep cutting me off, but have never done those little things for her. And while I understand where she might be at with that kind of headspace, I just feel like right now as women, we're exposed to so much of like what red flags look like, that I just think there comes a time where somebody is just doing the bare minimum. Now, it might feel good, I guess, if you've never had it, but okay, I'm about to get on my soapbox just a little bit. So my issue with Charlie and women like her is that they will accept the crumbs from a man, knowing good and full well they would not accept these crumbs from anybody else in their life. When Charlie ran to her friend that came to see her and got to crying in her arms, you can't tell me that Charlie does not have, at least if it's just that girl, people in her life who love on her and show her that she's valuable and show her that she's worthy and does nice things for her. Honey, I heard having kids is one of the greatest feelings of love in the world. Kids be making you feel extra special. I don't know. I don't have no children. But it's not, I think that even when you're dating and when you're in relationships, if you're confused as to whether or not somebody is giving you the bare minimum, just think about what other people in your life give you. Think about what other people in your life do for you. People who you are not sleeping with, people you are not romantically involved. How do they show up for you? You know, and it could be a friend you've known for even a short amount of time. Think about how they show up for you. You know what I'm saying? So you still kind of have what am I trying to say? You still kind of have a level to compare it to. And so I think that at a certain point and at a certain age, you just know when somebody is not really, they giving you something and it feels nice because it's some type of attention from a man that you are not getting at the time. So a little bit of attention from a man feels like a lot when you're not getting it, but you know good and full well what it feels like for people to love on you, for people to care for you, for people to show in action how they feel about you. Because based on how you ran to that friend, I know you got it. Somebody giving it to you somewhere, right? So that's always been my issues with some women where they'll be like, oh, I'm looking for, it's a big thing right now. Everybody looking for friends, but you become friends with these people and they will come out their mouth and say, well, I ain't never had nobody care for me. I ain't had nobody be kind to me. And you'll be looking like, what? Excuse me? I am very loving and kind to you. But that doesn't matter because it's not coming from the person that they want it to come from. It's not coming from that, that dusty ass man. In her case, that she is dealing with. And I think Charlie knows better, but she just wants a reason to stick around with Jared. At some point in the episode, they end up playing a game, and the question of not only do you want any more children, but also monogamy comes up, to which Jared says he doesn't believe in monogamy. And after everybody starts kind of getting on him and asking probing questions, he starts switching his answer a little bit. Charlie tells us in the confessionals it makes sense that he doesn't believe in monogamy. Maybe this is why he moves in relationships the way that he does, and he just never really wants to settle down because he doesn't really believe in monogamy. And I was just kind of like, I mean, yeah, maybe so. But if you don't believe in monogamy, what are you even doing over here? Then he says, well, I think like that because nothing lasts forever. And, whenever I'm done, whenever I'm not satisfied, I just move around. I just leave. And they were just like, okay, so it's not really monogamy that you have an issue with. You just don't believe in things lasting long term and things lasting for forever. Nah, he said it right the first time he said it. He just tried to switch it up because y'all was getting on his head and his manipulation was slipping from him. So he tried to switch it up on y'all, and it worked for who it worked for. In the very end, they're the last people at the house. I wanted Charlie to get some scruples, like at least, like you done got played with, right? You done got played with or whatever. You still acting like you don't understand what's going on. At the very end, at least be the one to walk away. She ain't even do that. She let this man tell her for the third time that the answer was going to, this is the third time, the answer was going to be a no for him. And this is when I determined that Jared is a sociopath, because he was like, thank you so much, Charlie. You're an amazing person. I'm so glad I got to meet you. Okay, he being all nice to her. She walked to the car. You're still my bestie. And I bet you she is still his bestie. It would not surprise me if we find out at this reunion they done had sex, that she done flew to South Carolina. None of it would surprise me. But Charlie sits there and says, like, I feel like you wasted my time. I feel like you played with me. And he did. To an extent, though. To an extent, he did. Once he found out about the kids, that's the only thing. That's where he started being dishonest with you in that, well, y'all started being dishonest to each other when y'all didn't tell that y'all had children anyway, and you had a newborn at that, but child, whatever. He says it's going to be a no for him. He would like to still continue to be besties. And I forgot to mention that she let us all know that she had his initials tattooed on her because she thought it would be a good way to show him how she felt about him. I said, baby, oh. Yeah, ladies, like, sometimes we just make it way too easy for them to run game. Like, why was you getting his initials tattooed on you? Y'all in the dating stages. This is not your... I wouldn't get my husband's name tattooed on me, let's be clear. But still, baby, that's what you felt like you needed to do to show him that you were serious. We gonna have to learn how to live without so much validation from men, ladies. We're gonna have to because she got 4 children to raise, and I'm glad she said that when she did walk away in her confessionals, like, yes, I got 4 children to raise, I got these, you got things to do. This right here, baby, this can't be your focus. This kind of man right here cannot be. No man needs to be your focus to this degree. It really don't. I'm interested in how this reunion is gonna go. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I know this wasn't the best review, but child, this wasn't the best episode. These people is crazy. I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.